Welcome to the Medical Ancillary Sales Podcast, your number one source for making money in the medical ancillary sector. Mike and Viv bring you the latest information from lab services, pharmacy, diagnostic testing, and so much more. The latest in ancillary services will be right around the corner. Welcoming the hosts of the Medical Ancillary Sales Podcast, here's Mike and Viv.
Hello and welcome to the Medical Ancillary Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Berg, and joined by Vivian Hudson and one of our other favorite guests. Viv, you want to introduce?
Oh, yeah, I want to introduce Justin. He's always so great on the phone, so we know he's always going to be so great on a podcast too. Welcome, Justin Roybal. How are you, Justin?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
You're very welcome. So Justin, as you may recall, if you've been tuning into the podcast, he's a resident allergy specialist, but he has a little something new under his belt. So do you want to tell us what that's about, Mike?
Well, yeah. We did a podcast a couple weeks ago on specialty pharmacy, and this is a program that, as I explained in the last podcast, I rolled my eyes a little bit the first time I heard about this, because as soon as I heard pharmacy, I'm thinking of all those derelicts who are out there, pushing specialty pharmacy or pushing compound pharmacy, people that had no industry experience and blew that whole market up. So immediately, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, I'm not really interested in another compounding solution. But this has nothing to do with compounds, first and foremost. So if that's what you think it is, don't turn off your podcast. This is not compounds. But this program, the more I've seen out of this program, the more I've seen the results, this looks pretty legitimate, and there is some phenomenal money. And the thing I like best about this program too is, we're trying to create long-term income streams. I'm not about the get in and get rich quick. This is about get rich over the long run and making sure we can put food on the table. So in that spirit, I like having a diversified portfolio. So even within the lab space, we have a diversified portfolio, and outside the lab space, we try to diversify into some programs that bring in some real money that are going to stick around for the long haul. So that's that's the other reason I love specialty pharmacy. Plus, it makes a lot of sense for the patients and a lot of sense for the physicians. So I hope I didn't steal your thunder there, Justin. But Justin, I know you're serving as the product specialist on it, and you've already been getting blown up with phone calls about specialty pharmacy. So there's obviously interest from clinics, from affiliates who are out there pushing this. So Justin, thank you for getting on. And first and foremost, can you kind of give us an overview of what the specialty pharmacy program consists of?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're absolutely right. There has been quite a bit of interest already regarding the service and the program that we are unveiling. Specialty pharmaceuticals, just right off the bat, it's going to draw interest just with the name alone. People are intrigued. What does that mean? And basically what it does mean is, we're dealing with not only higher end, $750 to $1,000 a month prescriptions, but we also are able to offer everything from brand names to generic. So as far as the pharmacy benefit side of it, it is going to be accessible to, any particular prescriptions that patients maybe need, any specialty prescriptions that a doctor may be needing to get filled as well. But what it really is doing is it's alleviating a lot of the staff time. Everyone's always looking to add extra revenue, but there's one thing that they really can, never find, and that's more available time. And that would be, whether it's throughout the day or maybe just being able to create some time for their staff to take on some more legwork at the practices. So generally what would happen is we have the ability to really run and integrate with some EMR systems, which would alleviate the whole paper form of writing prescriptions for the doctor. One of the great aspects of the program is the ability to kind of take some of the legwork where, it regards to checking benefits on the patients, pre-authorizing, their benefits and their insurance to make sure that they are acceptable to, accept the the prescriptions that the doctor is prescribing. So that's one thing. We're eliminating probably anywhere from an hour. I've heard as much as maybe 5 hours at some busier clinics that the staff members are spending on the phone, pressing buttons, waiting on hold until they get a human to kind of help them get that prescription filled and make sure that the patients are able to be covered for it. Another great aspect of it is just the availability of the prescriptions that are available. It really eliminates a lot of the time of the patient, so it's really a relationship builder for the doctors and their patients. You may have a number of senior citizens that are taking medication on a timely manner, and sometimes they run into an issue of maybe getting those prescriptions filled. So the great benefit about this is that we also are able to deliver them directly to their door. So eliminating, when you're in Colorado, such as myself, and the snow's coming down and it's 15 degrees out, they're not really wanting to go out to the pharmacy, to the CVS or to the Walgreens, Walmart to get those prescriptions filled. Another great stat that we have recently uncovered is how many patients are actually not even getting those prescriptions filled when the doctor prescribes it to them. And I think we're looking at around 25 to 32% of those prescriptions are never even being filled by their patients. So protocol and adhering to the doctor's maintenance prescriptions, that's huge. So there's a couple of the benefits right there that we're looking at with unveiling this program and making it available to the masses.
Yeah.
So can I, because I've got the pharmacy background, so I'm going to come in with a couple of pointers or questions as well. So with the specialty pharma, I mean, that whole area, that they're quite novel drugs compared to some of the stuff that's been out forever, and typically they're very, very expensive. Now, from a pharmacy standpoint, and this was true in Australia as well, that it doesn't really warrant the pharmacy to actually keep these things in stock, because as a pharmacist, you don't write the prescriptions, so you don't always have a guarantee that if you stock something that's worth $1,000, that you will get, that patient will come in and have that drug dispensed from you.
And they have a shelf life.
Yeah, so exactly. So typically with those particular items, they become special orders. So the patient's got to come in, and they might have to wait a day or two for that drug to come in. And then when they need their refill, they've got to alert the pharmacy again to get it ready to come in as well. So by them having it mail ordered, it gives that patient peace of mind, that they're going to get their medication when they need it, and also have their refills delivered in a timely manner. And from what I understand is this particular company also provides quite a bit of patient support as far as training with the utilization of some of these drugs, because as you can imagine, with some of the autoimmune diseases and oncology drugs, that they can be quite potent. So the handling of them needs to be like there's special handling required for them as well. So, and I guess that eliminates some of the exposure for people in the pharmacy too. So I can see that is going to be such a great benefit for patients, physicians, and for the drug companies too, to get the patients the medication when they need it.
Absolutely. One of the other great benefits of that, now that you touched upon that, Viv, is actually when that is delivered to the patients, they actually will receive a welcome packet, which will go directly into how they are to administer those medications, the time in which those need to be taken. They also will be giving a number to where they can actually reach out to a pharmacy technician to ask any questions if there's any confusion on what they've received and how they are to administer that to themselves. So they do go that extra step to make sure that compliance is met and that they are offering as much support as they possibly can.
Now, Justin, so you mentioned, the specialty medications is the big draw. And this also saves money, does it not? I know that the pharmacy, that's one of the things that they boast, is that their prices are less than the big box stores. And you have more and more patients who, because of rising premiums, are doing percentage copays to keep their premiums down, which means that in a lot of cases, they're going to be paying out 20% of the cost of the meds. That's going to be the patient responsibility. So if you can lower the cost of those medications, especially on an expensive medication that could be costing thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars per prescription. Just to even a 10% savings on a copay could mean $100 or more for the patient.
Right. And we actually are seeing savings upwards of 30%. Now, that is not going to always be guaranteed, but just knowing that peace of mind that you obviously are, having the opportunity to not only offer the convenience of the service being delivered directly to their door, but the possibility of them saving up to 30% is huge. I mean, anyone that can see a 30% savings on some maintenance medication, it's going to be quite beneficial and make them have a little bit more peace of mind.
Yeah, well, I don't know about you guys as far as getting mail order prescriptions, but I know my in-laws, they get a whole bunch of prescriptions and they get them all through the mail. So I don't know who goes to CVS and Walgreens, but it's obviously a lot more convenient for the patients if
I'll
they
tell
know
you who
that
goes
they
there.
have
Sadists. I hate going to the pharmacy more than I'd rather eat the scab off someone's forehead than go into a pharmacy and get a prescription filled. It's the worst.
You would have loved going into the pharmacies in Australia. We're not like that over there. We're much friendlier.
Well,
actually.
it's just the fact that you're going in and, okay, here's my script. And, okay, why don't you have a seat over there for 5 hours? And then they hand you something that they could have handed you in 2 seconds. So
Hey, now that's dangerous territory there. But what I was going to say is I have no idea now.
You were talking about getting your in-laws getting it through the mail.
Yeah,
right.
I've lost my train of thought.
Well, Justin, because we're running short on time here. Last question I have for you. What is the enrollment like if you have a practice that's interested? I mean, that's the other great part about this program. I mean, you want to talk about a simple enrollment. This doesn't take months and months and tons of paperwork to get signed up. What do you need in order to get enrolled?
Yeah, like you said, it's quite a simplistic opportunity here as far as getting a doctor enrolled. I mean, we're literally talking, they could be up and running within a day on being able to get those e-scribes across to the pharmacy to get those filled. Simply what it is we have an enrollment form. The main thing that you want to be concerned about when you're filling out the enrollment form, and there's not a lot to it, the doctor's name, the prescribing doctor's name, the address, the phone number, the email. But one of the main things that we want to make sure that we're focusing on is the MPI number. Now, doctors are going to have MPI numbers. The clinics are going to have MPI numbers. But what we are focusing on is actually the prescribing physician's MPI number. That would make it quite easy for the pharmacy to go ahead and cross-reference that to make sure that it is coming out of the right facility and it is going and being verified by that physician and getting in the hands of the physician's patient. So literally you're talking about a 20-second enrollment form that needs to be filled out, but the focus is, again, on the prescribing physician's MPI number.
Perfect. And I know, Justin, you are working on a link that by the time this podcast airs, you will be able to email that out to everybody. And that link will be the registration. But I've taken a look at the registration, and you're right. If it takes a minute to fill in, you're taking a long time. It's really not that much information. You populate it, and you're good to go. And your doctor's writing scripts. Easy peasy. Justin, I want to thank you again for getting on.
Yeah, I appreciate you two having me. And again, you know where to send people if they need to touch base with me, and if they find interest in this opportunity to maybe present to their practicing physicians. I appreciate you guys having me today.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.